Hola, welcome back to another exciting episode of Karishma Connect. We have four more to go in our countdown to 150, and you better stay tuned because that is happening indeed. I can't believe it. It's been 5 years, 150 episodes, a personal milestone. Thanks to all your support. Now, coming to this episode, which I have to thank Anamika from Khalij Times because she shared a wonderful story in the weekend edition of Khalij Times. And this person is someone I instantly felt inspired by and wanted to interview. And I'm so happy she said yes. And I'm speaking to Rakhi Mansukhani, who is a CV and resume writer here in the Middle East. And she talks to me about how she has given people different kind of opportunities over time just through their CV and their resume, and how she has helped them evolve this really important document into something that gets them ahead in the room. Now, she also tells me about why, if you're making your CV on Canva, you're actually doing it wrong, which stunned me. And I actually went back and revamped my own. So go check it out. And until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma. I'll be back yet again. Until then, tada. Thank you so much, Rakhi, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a rather interesting story that I came across on LinkedIn. Thanks to Anamika if she's watching this one. I was super curious, especially as a fellow writer. I've been really, really interested by your journey, and I can't wait to explore it in the next few minutes that we're going to spend together. Thank you so much once again for making yourself available.
Thank you, in fact, Karishma, for having me here. I was indeed elated when heard, I saw your message that, okay, someone wants my podcast. Similarly, with Anamika, when she had messaged me, it was like, it was out of blues. I didn't expect that. So there are times that, of course, I do get, notice on LinkedIn itself.
Absolutely. And because I think it comes from the fact that you're doing something so unique and you're at it. And we'll get to that. I want to know what inspires you to do that. But I'll start off with your journey so far, which is very important. What has brought you to where you are today? How did it all begin?
Okay, so I'll keep it brief that I have been in the UAE for 25 years now. And I did start my journey in corporate life. I worked with many multinational companies until 2000, you can say 14. I was working. Despite then I had my offsprings here, and until 2014 I was working. And in 2014 I felt that there's something that I need to do. I just cannot go for that 9 to 5 and 8 to 6 job. So because I had that business instincts, I'm a Sindhi, so business instincts are within us.
We all have
We
it.
are we are born with those business instincts. And then in the year 2014 I started with my clothing brands first. Yes, I had a line of clothing brand. Then I was the first person who was into, you can say, men's accessories. I was a pioneer for all of this, like the men's accessories, and I used to be a vendor in the exhibitions. After that, in 2017, the rules changed, where the government said, no, you cannot do any home business, you must have a trade license. I said, okay, I don't have a trade license. I'd rather not do this business because taking a trade license and a shop, those days, we had to pay key money and this and that. I said, okay, rather than all this, I'll just wind it, because ladies had started doing, this kind of business from home. Cutting short to that, then in after post COVID, I was still doing a business, but then because I had my fashion brand, I used to sell it on platforms which were not known. Even Facebook Market was not in the UAE that time. Marketplace was introduced later on. So when Amazon took over Souk.com, I knew already how to upload my products on Souk. So I opened a digital marketing company in 2018. So my company was running very well because I already knew how to sell their products. Okay, and in until 2020, then 2020 COVID struck. After me, everybody had digital marketing agency. Everybody. Then I thought, okay, even under digital marketing company in 2018, I was still doing my resume. I was doing resume work, but under that, because resume was somehow I loved, what mess I receive and what I give it back. It's therapeutic for me, as I've already said in Khali's time. It's therapeutic. I like the outcome what I deliver. Then and in 2018, then 2022, I said no. Resume is my work because nobody else can copy that. But of course, everybody can be a digital marketer. Then again I switched. I changed my company's name from Instablitz to Your Resume Writer, and I streamlined and I left the marketing. So whatever you see the post on LinkedIn or on Facebook, these are all my posts. I create them because I know marketing as well. And everyone's resume is their marketing tool. So I know how to sell myself and I know how to position the candidate as well. In 2023 I came, I segregated my marketing company from the resume writing. I don't have one entity, I've got three entities now. Your Resume Writer is my primary entity, and then there is the Y Socials and Businesses, which is my secondary entity. That's a platform which I made for for myself first, that I could go out and tell people that I am a resume writer. And the third one is Dubi Dial, which is a platform very similar to a directory, but that is again for businesses to be listed over there. And of course this community is the place where I publish, I have a WhatsApp group for networking, I have meetups, I have a lot many things. People know that I am there in the market as a resume writer. People do give my reference, be it on Facebook and certain ladies groups and this and that. My name is there. So basically I've been writing resumes since 2018 until today, and I've written over 1200 resumes.
Wow, that is
Over 1200 resumes, yes.
1200 different stories altogether.
Yes.
How has that changed with AI coming into the picture?
Okay. See, AI is an enhancer. It cannot replace a human. It's input versus output. Whatever people are inputting on ChatGPT or any other, you will get the exact same outcome with better words, enhanced words. But a human mind cannot be replaced. The human feel, the human touch, the emotions cannot be replaced. So I don't say that I don't have AI tools. I do have AI tools, but I use it in such a way. I know how to position and align someone's resume or their LinkedIn or their cover letter or even go for job search. I can tell that.
Interesting. And what do you think? Because you've made so many of them. What's the process like? How do you even start off?
Very simple. I just ask what's your name and are you currently employed or not employed. So there I can judge what is the trauma that the person is going through. Women who are on sabbatical or women who never worked, and okay, there are two different things. So women who never worked, they don't know where to start at all, but they do want to do something. But at the same time, women who have never worked, they're a little laid back, and I would suggest that women, everyone should work, all the women should work rather than being laid back or being on your spouse's expense. Even if you're a multimillionaire, do something of your own. Women who are on sabbatical, I it's easy to explain them, than explaining women who have never worked.
I'm gonna ask you this because just before we were entering this interview, I had a throwback to a time when we were writing our first CV, where you really didn't have anything at all. And I think there are a lot of viewers, even in my audience, who are at that stage of life where, they may be entering the job market, they don't have anything to show. Now, so far, what I've seen is you try to find what you have in the best of your experience so far. What is your way of sort of what would be your advice to those people basically?
See, people who have never worked, if you're targeting them, and who have no knowledge at all, the best way is, see, as I just said, market your resume is your marketing tool. Okay, and how to position yourself in that marketing tool is what is my expertise. People who have never worked, I make their resume based on their skills. We all have skills, we all have certain skill sets. So we should highlight, that's what I highlight. I highlight their skill sets then. Even if they have no work experience, of course they do have hand and leg. They are going to talk, they are going to work, they're going to, stand in front of people, communicate. So that's what I highlight, their skills.
Raki, what do you think makes or breaks a good CV? How would you define that?
A resume is precise within 2 pages. A CV is a course of life curriculum vitae that we say, and that runs more than 2 pages. CV was used way back, and in some countries, in some profession, like in some professions like university principals or deans or them, they do still have CVs. But what happens is that with this new software, the ATS, the CV does not get scanned. It is a resume that will be read. So clearing the air that it's a resume that needs to be made and not CV. The ATS is not limited to only the format or the content. It is the way you present yourself, how you structure and format it, that also counts. The structuring counts. So an ATS around the globe is different. It's a software. Every company uses a different software. Emirates Airline will use a different ATS. Alphotem will use a different one. So even if your resume is around 60% qualified, it is qualified. Now, resume qualification of ATS, how qualified is your ATS resume? It differs from country. In the US, the ATS qualifications are different. In the UAE, it is different as per UAE format.
What do you think the ideal sort of resume looks like in your opinion? What is the kind of hack that you've figured out over time?
See, for me, a leadership resume has to be 1 page. It cannot exceed 2 page.
But then now I'm going to ask you a very straightforward question. How do you fit all that experience in one page?
You don't. That's what I'm saying. A person with 15 or 20 years experience, if he started with a executive level and he's reached the VP of a certain bank or a company, everybody knows that he hasn't reached there easily. And based on his very first job of an executive, he won't be getting the next job. It is the current one that will give you the next one. Based on your current portfolio, you will get your next job, not based on what you did before. So that's, you have to, again, when I position people on their resume, I prefer making 1 page. As you just said, people have stopped reading. So seeing 2 pages is a pain. So I would, if it's a leadership resume or an intern's resume, it has to be 1 page. I don't prefer picture on a resume, but yes, in this market, the things don't work as it should be. Some companies want picture, some companies don't want picture. I don't know why they want to gauge the age and how the person looks. They should be employed for their work, for their skills. Because as I told you, even I was in this corporate field, right? Even I was in a corporate world. So I know the hassles that even a candidate goes through when he is going for an interview. Maybe he doesn't have money. Maybe he's got some other issues. You're making a candidate come all over there, and then you say, I cannot give you a job, or you call 100 people as a walk-in interviews. That's not correct. Important to read the candidate's resume and just not automate everything. Because you are in fact filtering out the good ones.
Tell me something. There used to be a time, I think around I think this is before COVID. There used to be a time where there was this whole fad about creative CV. How creative is your CV? Now I think I haven't, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just my observation in my little bit of a universe, that I've not seen that word being used as often today. It's become more of, I don't know, is it back to basics or is it ATS friendly or whatever? Do you still see that need to be creative on a CV, or simple and sweet still works the best?
See, being little creative is fine. Anything over is not fine. Over buzzing your CV with um, keywords, or over buzzing and over, it is known as, there is a term named as CV pimping. Okay, CV pimping actually means that you have put in certain skills that you have, that only a certified person should have. For instance, I made a resume for a girl, and she said, I know UI UX is interface and user experience. And she said, I know this. I said, wait, do you actually know them, or you are certified? She said, in my previous company, I used to do this. I said, no, that is not correct. You you must be certified to become something. You cannot become a doctor without being actually a doctor. These things should be avoided on a resume. Anything over is not okay. Especially even interns, when they are coming out of their college, oh, we have done this, we have done this project, we have done this project. No worries, you have done projects, you might be the best, but don't override them. Be honest, because when you go for interviews, people who are sitting there opposite you, they know what they are looking for. And don't miss your chance. That may be the first chance and the last chance, because your first impression is your last impression.
Now, what's interesting to me specifically after getting to know you is that you've chosen a really unconventional path, and any sort of unconventional path comes with its challenges, while it also comes with its opportunities. What would you say is the driving force behind what you do? Of course, you know how to sell. You are building stories for other people, but what drives you as part of it?
I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about my work. When you turn your hobby into your passion, your full-time work, you really don't know. It flows in my blood. Maybe sometimes midnight when I'm dreaming, I dream of resumes. Midnight I get messages, ma'am, can we please talk to you for resume for CV? So I am passionate about my work.
And that's so beautiful the way you say it as well. That is so beautiful. More power to you on that while we are at this point of the interview.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. You know how I began with this? Because when I used to work, I used to modify my own resumes, and I used to get calls like "Pring," so fast. And then I used to see, because I was in the HR itself, I used to see people's resumes are really bad, really bad. So when I was having my marketing company in Stublets, and when I was writing resumes under that, I made my brother's resume, and his resume was 18 pages. I said, this is not a resume, it's a portfolio, it is not even a CV. This is a company portfolio, I said. Then, bringing down 18 to again 2 pages was a challenge. And then, because of course in 2017 I went through certain, ups and downs in my life. I was looking for a job again in 2017, because I didn't want to fall back. And I am very strong in that way. So I said, okay, resume writing is what I take it as my career. Then I approached many influencers, please influence for me, market for me, because I was learning that trend of marketing, the networking especially. Then I understood, okay, this is how I can sell myself out of Facebook and out of, because Soup.com does not have, Amazon does not have this facility. Then I said, okay, this is how I will have to market my position myself. Then Google ads, then Google this, then the pricing. So after my article, Anamika's article, now I see there are more than 50,000 companies who are offering resume writing. And with my company's name, Your Resume, if you find your resume, you will get a list of another 1,000 companies here in the UAE. maybe they are not even, they are using the same Canva and Etsy, because Canva, Etsy are picture resumes, which is not ATS qualified. So yeah, that's how it is. And I am really grateful to Anamika, and she was the one who actually positioned me in the top.
Yes, that story did make a mark. That it's a really good one that she's.
And when Shihab was here in my house taking my picture, I was still, reeling to it. I said, what is happening? Is it real or is it not real? And really, I mean, my previous company's colleagues and all, they started messaging me in the evening. Hey, Rocky, over here. I said it was real.
Tell me, what are three easy tips? And you have covered quite a few of them, but I would like you to just make it concise for somebody who's looking to enhance their CV right away. You've already told, you just literally broke a myth about Canva as well. Tell me, what are the three tips that one can use to enhance their CV right away?
See, enhancing the CV should only be done in Microsoft Word. If you don't want know how to format it, rather leave it. Just write your all your information and just format it a bit. You don't have to do over the board. So don't use Canva, don't use Etsy, don't use any template, don't use Adobe Firefly. They are all pictures, and it is not ATS qualified. ATS qualification is still important, because even on LinkedIn, when you upload certain companies, it will not go through. Okay, so resume you have to restructure, reformat, rewrite. That's very simple.
You have put me on because I have used Canva myself, so now I need to go back. And I've been wondering, why doesn't it go through? What is the problem?
That is the problem. See, your resume is your marketing tool. Okay. And I'm again telling you, it needs to position you in such a way that you are, you know, doing the best at what you are. It talks about you, not about the company where you worked. It should not only be a job description. There are achievements to write. There are skills to write. But there is a thumb rule to follow when we are making a resume.
How important it is to invest separately into marketing yourself and, more importantly, networking.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. You know, all the candidates who message me, they say, "Ma'am, do you have any reference in bank or in a hospital or this and that?" See, networking is important, but I'm not telling you to um, not do anything. My references are for me. Not every time I can help a candidate, because as I'm running job groups also, I have more than 2,500 candidates. I can't remember what each candidate is looking for. So when it comes to networking, yes, it becomes pricey for job seekers to go out on a platform and spend money and meet people one to one. So the most easiest way to network is through LinkedIn, which is a digital networking platform itself. When I send out a networking message every day, I mean, I send connection request, and I do introduce myself, and that's how I, create my own network. So, LinkedIn is a place where you can open the doors to, there's no point being shy. What will happen? The person will either accept your connection or not accept. And since you have sent a connection, it's your duty to send an introduction. It's your duty to start and initiate the conversation. That's how it should go. So when I send out the connection request, I send the introduction, and if they accept, I send the introduction. If they don't accept, I wait for 1 week and I withdraw. I withdraw. There's no shame. I am introducing myself. I am positioning myself. So the best way is to network on LinkedIn, network with your friends and colleagues, and if you're looking for a job, be audible for it. You know, if you just keep it within yourself, your family members don't know. Nobody would know. Your friends, brother, sister, if they don't know, they don't know. If you're audible, if you're loud, if you say, I'm urgently looking for a job, you have any connection, they might say yes or a no. You reached out, you have an answer. So if you just don't initiate, if you just run from pillar to post, I don't have network, I don't have network. No, we all have network. We all are influencers within ourselves. But it's how you like to, talk about it. If you're very shy or demure, you can say demure, it will be like you'll not go anywhere. So networking is important within your house, family, friends, LinkedIn, Facebook. Say that I'm looking for a job. Make a friend. Go. Yeah, of course, but be careful. Be careful at the same time.
Tell me, how relevant is a cover letter? Is it still relevant in today's times?
Okay, so there are two ways to work on with the cover letter. Yes, on LinkedIn, sometimes there are certain companies they will ask you to upload the cover letter as an asterisk. That means it is important to upload a cover letter. A cover letter should be generic, but only the position, the job title should be changed in the cover letter and sent out. If it's required to be attached on LinkedIn, please send it in PDF. If it is not required, then the same cover letter, the text you can use as an email body, the email body to email it to the recruiters. So keep your cover letter handy because more or less it's going to be the same as the email body or as the cover letter.
Such a wonderful purpose, Raki. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. Really means a lot. You've enlightened me, and I'm gonna go and rethink my.
This was just a gist, Karishma. There is a lot we can talk about. This was just a gist of what I offer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a vast topic, and it's unique because the other thing is I feel like people often do not see that perspective in something as basic. They think it's basic. They don't.
They think it's basic and they said there is no category also as a resume writer. Who do you think you are? I have got this question on my face. What is a resume writer? There is no position as resume writer. I found that gap between the candidates and the HRs. I identified it and I used it for my growth. I wanted to position people in such a way. And CV writer, how much you are charging? Huh, we get it for 30 dirham, we get it for 40 dirham. Yes, you will get it for 30, 40 dirham. You will get it in a typing center in a very standard format.
It has been such a pleasure, Raki. Really, really, really happy to meet you, and thank you so much once